Right, hello everyone. Welcome to a game called AI Roguelite. Very unusual game. I've been playing it a little bit. It's quite fun. It's very janky, and I've had a little problem actually with the recording. So you actually listen to me watching the recording back and commenting over the top of it. I don't know why, but somehow recording this game will mess up the audio in OBS. I think it's because it's using so much of my GPU. It affects OBS in some way. I don't know how it messes it up. I don't understand technology. This is how my voice sounded in the original recording. Welcome to a game called AI Roguelite. Interesting concept. So anyway, I thought what would be a good idea would be to try and generate a new Resident Evil game. So I've got a few presets that I saved. This one says Resident Evil 2, but it's not. It's just the second Resident Evil scenario that I attempted and saved. I just sort of generated these descriptions using ChatGPT. I think I changed where it says 1994 there on the second block to 1996. I couldn't remember exactly when Resident Evil was set or when it came out. Some stats that I can input as well. So the game takes a long time to generate. I'm going to cut down the loading times in this game because it takes ages to generate, especially when you first start the game. Expect to be waiting like a minute or two just for it to generate, because it generates everything: the images, the locations, the text. So yeah, you can see it's still generating things over here, and you see that like random picture of a dog. That's just like the default picture, but it'll slowly generate the images for these characters. Apparently it's generated a sentient bookcase over there, and you can see the description. You arrive at the eerie Spencer mansion deep in the woods of Raccoon City. It's a towering Gothic style estate that casts an ominous presence over its surroundings, and we've got a few different locations we can visit within the mansion from the get-go: the conservatory or the wine cellar. And then yeah, look at Jill Valentine. That's it doesn't look exactly like her, but just from the little description we gave the game, that's generated something that it could pass for something in a Resident Evil game, couldn't it? Definitely. And we've got a candelabra and some creaking floorboards we could check out. A hidden pocket watch, which the description doesn't match the name. So it says it's a detailed wooden grandfather clock standing in a tall corner of the room. So yeah, it's a bit strange. And then we've got the sentient bookcase, an old creaky bookcase that appears to have eyes and a sinister smile carved into the wood. It's filled to the brim with dusty leather-bound books and antique curiosities. Yeah, so it's random. What the game generates is very unusual, and this is interesting. Zombies created by the T-virus. I did not mention anything in the description about a T-virus, but because the game knows I'm trying to create something from Resident Evil, just from all the mention of Raccoon City and so on, it's come up with that itself. And also the vengeful spirits of the Spencer family. So yeah, there's ghosts in this scenario apparently. I think because it's set in a spooky mansion, the game thinks, oh yeah, a ghost spooky thing. So I'm going to try interacting with the creaky floorboards just to see what happens. There might be something hidden under there, or you never know. You carefully step onto the creaking floorboards, your boot sinking into the soft carpets as you move forward. You approach the first door on your left, pull out a small toolkit from your backpack, and begin to work on the lock. After a few minutes, the tumblers click and the door swings open, revealing an empty room. As you take another step inside, you can't shake off the feeling that someone is watching you. There you go. You proceed with caution, and it gives us this option. Will you go to this dimly lit room with single windows covered? I didn't read it fast enough there. My past self must have been faster at reading. So yeah, this is it. We got a new location. It's a bit strange how that worked, because I was just interacting with the creaking floorboards. I thought maybe she would like lift it up or something, but it took us to a whole new room. Okay, you arrive at a dimly lit room with a single window covered by heavy curtains. The room has dim lighting provided by a single barely lit candle flickering on a wooden table in the centre of the room. It's giving us a picture of almost like an apartment building there, but okay. And then we've got an antique desk and an old clock to interact with, and also a ghostly apparition, translucent figure of an elderly woman dressed in Victorian attire. and a fungus. We could talk to the fungus if we wanted to. This menu here is people we can interact with. An immense mushroom growing out of the corner of the room, slowly spreading its spores. And also this second row is enemies that we could fight. I don't really know how it works. I think maybe they're optional, like they might not really be there until you decide to fight them, sort of thing. It's not like these characters automatically attack you when you're in the room, but it sort of lists them as potential enemies when you're in a new location. So I think I'm going to interact with the antique desk just to see what we find. Might find some interesting loot, but we sit down at the desk and begin writing. So begin writing in your journal. Today I unlocked my way through countless doors and rooms, each one more disturbing than the last, but it was in this room something. You hear a faint whisper from behind you, causing you to jump in surprise. You turn around quickly, but there's no one there. You dismiss it as your imagination, returning to your journal. It was in this room that I found it, a ghostly apparition floating in the corner. So I think I'm going to speak to the ghostly apparition now, because, seems like the best person to speak to. Maybe ignore the fungus. I say, what? Who are you? And then you can see, like, I've got different skills, and it does like an RPG style roll check on these things. So it says roll check on charisma and speech, minor failure, and I improved the following skills. So I say to the ghostly apparition, who are you? But only a faint echo responds. The ghostly figure seems to be fixated on a large piece of furniture near the centre of the room, so you go over to investigate. Upon closer inspection, you realise that the object of the apparition's fascination is an old bookshelf completely covered in moss and fungus. The more you stare at it, the more you feel as if there's something strange about it, as if it's alive. So we can go to the library with the ghostly apparition, which the story didn't really explain why, but apparently now we're following the ghost to the library. As I said, it's quite janky, but it's amusing, this game. It generates such random stuff that it always feels different every time I've played it. You arrive at the library. The library is a large, dimly lit room with towering bookshelves stretching from floor to ceiling, filled with countless volumes on a variety of subjects. A heavy scent of aged leather and paper fills the air, and it's generated a nice picture of the giant library within the Resident Evil mansion, and we've got a studious teenager sitting at a computer terminal and a curious child. I forgot this bit. Also, the ghost is here as well. But yeah, within this haunted mansion filled with zombies, there's some kids. We've got an ancient scroll section where Star's operative Axel is sitting behind a desk, and then we've got the children's section, which looks absolutely delightful, doesn't it? Such a cheery place for such a spooky mansion. Oh, there's also a screaming child and a book-eating moth. Those are the potential enemies within the library. Yeah, I'm gonna chat to the ghostly apparition again and say, why did you bring me here? The apparition doesn't answer verbally. Instead, it points to the bookshelf. Feeling an irresistible pull towards it, you approach cautiously, gripping your flashlight tightly. As you get closer, you notice carvings etched into the wood, depicting grotesque creatures and ancient symbols. Suddenly, the bookshelf creaks and groans, revealing a hidden doorway coated in dust and cobwebs. Okay, so we could pull out a gun and take aim, ready to shoot anything that moves. Open a door slowly, using the flashlight to illuminate the darkness within. Or call out for anyone else in the room to join you and... So I'm going to choose the second option there. Cautious approach here, Jill. So I open the door slowly, using the flashlight to illuminate the darkness within. A spiral staircase descends into the depths of the castle, leading you deeper into its dark secrets. The ghostly apparition floats through the doorway, disappearing into the shadows, urging you to follow. Intrigued and slightly uneasy, you descend into the unknown, unsure of what horrors await you, but driven by the mysterious pull of the ancient bookshelf and the ghostly guide that brought you here. Follow the apparition, determined to uncover the mysteries and unravel the conspiracy surrounding the Umbrella Corporation, or attempt to make contact with the apparition, hoping to learn more. So I took the first option there. You then try to follow the ghostly apparition, determined to uncover the mysteries and unravel the conspiracies surrounding the Umbrella Corporation, but as you step out onto the first stair, the world around you warps, Settings change. Raccoon City Police Department quarantine zone. You awaken in a bloodied state surrounded by zombies and mutated creatures. You remember the library and the ghost, but nothing else. In your pocket you find a STARS badge and a Beretta M9 pistol. So now we're in the setting of Resident Evil 2, and it actually has generated a picture that looks like the police department from Resident Evil 2, which is strange. Again, this is nothing that I prompted within the game. I don't think I even mentioned Resident Evil in the prompt. I just sort of vaguely implied it by saying Raccoon City and Jill Valentine and stuff like that. So, it's interesting that the game's come up with all of this. So, you arrive at Raccoon City Police Department. It's a sprawling complex located in the heart of the city, and it's brought in Officer Leon Kennedy, looking handsome as well, and the station cook, smoking away there. There's also a corrupt police officer and a mutated virus, which manifests as a swirling green mist. We'll talk to Officer Leon Kennedy. Say, huh? How did I get here? I was just at Spencer Mansion and then blacked out. Officer Leon Kennedy replies, "What are you talking about? There's no one else here besides me. Maybe it's that crazy storm outside playing tricks on your mind." You notice that the station cook who was initially present has disappeared, and you begin to question whether the apparition led you astray or if something else is going on. You decide to put your trust in Leon Kennedy and ask him about his experiences in the city so far. As Leon looking even more sexy than before. Whew. I think here I just selected the option to continue the story. You can press the button just to continue things, generate more of the story without doing an action, which seemed to spawn in an enemy here for us. So we're now in combat apparently. It takes a while to load in. He tells you about strange happenings, including the disappearance of his partner, and mentions a possible connection to the Umbrella Corporation. As both of you discuss the situation, the door suddenly bursts open and a horde of zombies come running in. You have entered combat with the zombies. The zombie attacks you, grabbing you by the feet and pulling you down. You avoid them by stepping backwards. You can avoid them by stepping backwards when they close in or shooting them. Aiming at the heads will kill them instantly. Your objective is to escape the police station and find out what happened to your unit. Use the computer terminal to find information about past events and other clues. In the process, you encounter mutants, creatures that were once human or infected by something. Now, the station cook has died and received his coffee mug as loot. I was also injured somehow by the zombies. So this is the combat bit of the game. You can choose, I'm going to try and use my gun on the zombie here. We could also use the coffee mug if we wanted. So yeah. You try to shoot the zombies with your Beretta M9 pistol. It has 15 bullets and can be reloaded at any time. It gets a bit weird now. You start to see the game starting to break down after a while. As you approach the computer terminal, you hear screeching noises. A licker, a large creature with a razor-sharp tongue, leaps onto the ceiling and begins moving towards you. It is fast and agile, making it difficult to hit. It will leap down and attack if you get too close. Moving further into the station, you hear heavy footsteps. And it asks me if I want to go to the long with the zombies. I mean, I honestly don't know what location that is, so I click no. And we remain in combat with the zombies, but it's weird. It's as if Jill is doing something with the computer terminal whilst also fighting the zombies off. So the zombies attack you by swiping at you with their arms or biting you. The computer reveals that Raccoon City was once a peaceful city until the outbreak of the T-virus caused by Umbrella Corporation's attempt to create a bioweapon. As the situation worsens, the military quarantine the city to contain the virus. However, the city is now overrun by zombies and mutated creatures, including the Lickers and Hunter. We also take damage, and we've got a new location, Raccoon City Police Department. Oh yeah, I'm gonna scream to Leon to help me because he's there. Why isn't he helping us? You charmingly say to Officer Leon Kennedy, "Help me, Leon." Leon replies, "I'm trying my best, but these things just keep coming." He continues to shoot the zombies approaching you. Leon tells you that his partner Chris Redfield is missing and he suspects foul play. He believes the Umbrella Corporation might be involved due to their secret experiments taking place in the city. You decide to follow Leon's advice and head to the armory to get more ammo. Also take 33 damage and get more handgun ammo. So now we're headed towards the armory now. You arrive at the armory. The armory is a large, dimly lit room filled with rows upon rows of stacked shelves with various types of weapons and equipment. So there's a rack of automatic weapons over there, or a collection of handguns. They count as new locations. There's also an armoured tank and a sword-wielding maniac. We could choose to engage in a fight with those things if we wanted. But as I say, I don't know if those are actually there in the world or they're just sort of like optional enemies, and it sort of spawns them in if you decide to fight them. There's also this armourer. He's wearing a black leather apron, closed cap, and tinkering with a blunderbuss, and the sword fighting instructor. So I guess we could use him to train us up in sword combat if we wanted. I'm going to talk to Leon again. Help me, Leon. I'm bleeding. I'm not very good at spelling, to be honest. I think one of those things bit me. Because I'm low on health, I decided to try and ask Leon Kennedy to try and see if he could get me healed up. Officer Leon Kennedy turns around and sees your injuries, his eyes widening in concern. He quickly rushes over and examines your wound. He says, "We need to sterilize this immediately. Follow me." He leads you to the infirmary where he cleans and bandages your wound. Whilst waiting for the wound to heal, you hear gunshots from another area of the station. Somehow this, instead of healing me, this injured me. But we took 33 damage. So I don't know I think the game is just, can't work out the difference between getting healed and getting damaged in this bit. So we're now on 10 health. Yeah, I tried one of the open ending options. This is one where you just type in what happens if you want to, take the story into your own hands. So I tried, you bandage your wounds and consume and use a first aid spray. Yeah, healing 90 health. Yeah, let's see if this works. Oh. It didn't seem to heal us up there. We're still on 10 health. Leon checks his radio. Unit Alpha, come in. We're under attack. Extract us immediately. There's no response. Leon grimly looks at you. We're on our own. Let's find some weapons and ammo. You nod. Let's move. And together they head towards the armory. We've got an M4A1 assault rifle with 30 rounds of something. Zombies came in, rustling chains and moaning. The zombies attack you, ramming you with their heads and biting you. You receive a few hits. Leon fights off the zombies using his combat training and finds an M16 assault rifle with plenty of ammo. He hands it over to you, saying, "Use this until we can find something better." As you continue through the armory, you spot a sword fighting instructor who has been transformed into a zombie and an armourer cowering in fear. We took 15 damage. And apparently that killed us. So, in roguelite mode, you wake up after dying and lose most of your items. You awaken in a hospital bed with a cast on your arm and a doctor attending to you. The doctor mentions that Officer Kennedy brought you unconscious in the armory, surrounded by dead bodies. Found you unconscious in the armory, surrounded by dead bodies, including those of the sword fighting instructor and the armor. This is weird, an IV stand, but the pictures of a plant, so I don't know whether it thinks that it's an ivy plant, but it's also an IV stand. The game can't tell the difference. We've also got this nurse here, looking very cheerful, and this doctor looking very suave. Yeah, this is strange. I think I decided to interact with it because I thought maybe it would act like a green herb, because it's, a green plant. Maybe the game thinks that it is. You then hook yourself up to the IV stand and let the fluids flow into your body, hoping it will help you feel better and regain some strength. You ask the doctor about the current situation in Raccoon City, and he tells you about the bioorganic virus outbreak and the chaos it caused. He warns you to be cautious as you leave the hospital. After leaving hospital, you decide to search for supplies and other survivors. You find a police car and use the radio to call for backup, but there's only static. I guess that's the IV stand, is it? I don't know. So you healed 33 HP, so I finally found a way to heal myself, hooking myself up to this plant thing. I'm going to equip my Beretta in my hand here. That gives us some extra skills. I didn't do that before. That might be why my combat wasn't so good. Yeah. So even though the story says I left the hospital, I'm still in the hospital. It's weird, this. I think also there's different AI models that you can use. Some of them are more taxing on your computer. And you know, the one that I'm using is quite taxing on my computer, and it's one of the lowest, like the least intelligent AI models that you can use in the game. So, you know, you might get better results if you use a different model, and you know, over time it might improve as well. So I'm going to talk to the doctor again. I need to get back to the police station. They are in danger. The doctor nods and follows you to the police station, where you see Officer Leon Kennedy outside the station. You tell him everything and he says, "We have to go save them." You drive to the harbour, where you find out that Officer Leon Kennedy was abducted by someone. You start investigating the area and soon realise that the person who kidnapped Officer Leon has been using their car for surveillance purposes. You see Officer Leon Kennedy's car parked outside the harbour where he was abducted. So we can call the police and report that he's been kidnapped, or drive to the harbour to confront the person who abducted Officer Leon Kennedy, or contact Mr. Brown and tell him about what's going on at the harbour. So we pick the second option here. So we drive to the harbour to confront the person who abducted Officer Leon Kennedy. You find a yacht with a large umbrella logo on its side. Upon boarding, you face off against several enemy soldiers, including a mutated dog. After clearing the deck, you find and rescue Officer Leon Kennedy. He thanks you for saving his life, and together they blow up the yacht, destroying the evidence of Umbrella's involvement in the virus outbreak. And why would they do that? I don't know. Surely they want to gather the evidence. Yeah, okay. Back at the station, Officer Leon Kennedy commends you for your bravery and heroism. And suddenly we're under attack by a giant spider. A spider about human size, which hangs upside down from the ceiling by its 8 legs. Yeah, the spider has a bandage on its leg. Weird. So I guess we're just going to try shooting at this spider then. I like its eyes. You shoot the spider with your Beretta M9 pistol. It falls and reveals itself to be a clone of yourself, having absorbed some of your memories and abilities. You and Officer Leon Kennedy escape from the dock by using the sheriff's helicopter to fly back to the police station. What? At the station, you go to the infirmary, where you meet with the doctors and nurses. The doctor explains the situation and asks if you're alright. He assesses your condition and recommends rest. Officer Leon Kennedy offers his assistance, but you decline, saying you must be strong. But we're somehow still in combat with the spider. Like I say, this game, and also it kind of still thinks we're in the hospital bed. So perhaps this is all just a dream that Jill's having. The giant spider attacks you by shooting a web at your feet and dragging you towards it. Officer Leon shoots the web, freeing you. He shoots the spider and the spider dies. And then you both return to the police station, where Leon Kennedy explains what happens to the sheriff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if the game knows what's going on anymore. We've got some loot, spider silk, painkillers, and 20 gold. And we leveled up as well, apparently. I think there is a way to level up in this game. Yeah, over here I can add some extra points to my, and get strength up, charisma, intellect. Yes. So yeah, we can go to all of these different locations here. It still thinks we're in the hospital, but I guess from here we can go to the armory. So we'll go to the armory. We triggered a random event whilst travelling. We're just about to leave the armory. The sword fighting instructor and the armourer are still there, even though the story told us they'd been killed or turned into zombies or something earlier on. Maybe they were different ones. Just as you're about to leave the armory, a voice interrupts you. "Well, well, if it isn't the Master of Unlocking himself," says a familiar voice. "It's your former STARS colleague and sword fighting instructor. He seems surprised but pleased to see you." Another figure emerges from the shadows, the armourer. He greets you coolly. He seems less pleased to see you. "I heard you were transferred off the team," he says, accusingly. "What are you doing here?" And we've got a key plot point. Alucard, a former STARS member. Alucard is from the Castlevania games. Try to convince one of them to join you and escape the city together. Oh, we're going to explain our situation to both of them. But yeah, I don't know where this former STARS team member Alucard came from, which is Dracula spelt backwards, if you didn't know. So our mood is so low that it's affecting the outcome of things. So we thought we would explain ourselves to them, but then Jill thinks, what's the point? She reflects on the day's events and feels helpless. And she decides to brief them quickly about the situation, hoping they'll help. The armourer nods solemnly. I owe you one for helping with that rogue experiment back in the training facility. He accesses the police database and says, Officer Leon was last seen heading towards the armory. Let's go. As you reach the armory, Alucard starts practicing his moves with a few of the katanas, impressively slicing through wooden dummy targets. Okay, so yeah, we're all here now with Leon Kennedy, I see. Yeah, we're very hungry as well. We need to start finding some food because there's hunger in this game. Yeah, I think I decided to go over to the assault rifle rack to see if we can get some cool weapons. We arrive at the assortment of automatic weapons. There are several rows of metal shelves lined up against the walls, each one stacked with various types of automatic weapons. Got an M16 and an AK-47. So I think I'm going to try and interact with it to see if that picks it up. You fire a few rounds from the M16. Okay. Good, Jill. Nice work. I've summoned some kind of monster here. You fire a few rounds from the M16 at the pumpkin-headed boss, causing him to laugh manically and retreat back into the shadows. As you search for Leon, you hear his voice coming from the intercom system telling you to meet him at the armory. In the armory, you find Leon practicing with his katana against the wooden dummies. He comments on your resourcefulness. And yeah, we're under attack by waves of mutated pumpkin creatures. Yeah, we can use some of our skills on these mutated pumpkin creatures. We could also use our spider silk that we got from killing that giant spider. Or we could grant the status effect, you become a painkiller, if we eat those painkillers. Yeah, and you can see here at the bottom it says you take 5 damage due to starvation. These creatures resemble pumpkins with human limbs and features. So yeah, we tried to rapidly fire our gun at the waves of mutated pumpkin creatures. You manage to take them down, but they keep coming. Alucard suggests using grenades and explosives to clear a path. And yeah, we can choose to go to a large room with a door on the other side. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. We find a door apparently. Still taking damage from starvation, but we go through some random door here. And here we go. Yeah, I mean, it must be a door into the next building or something. You arrive at a large room with a door on the other side. The room you enter is dimly lit with a high ceiling and concrete walls. Scattered throughout the room are various crates, barrels and other debris, suggesting it was once used as a storage area. So there's a salesman in here, standing near a podium with a large selection of something, I missed that. And a customer, a tall, slender woman. There's also gaming chairs and people playing first-person shooter games. It's almost as if we're in some kind of gaming store, which is also a storage area. Okay, I'm going to try and find food in here. You look around desperately for something to eat. It's like being in a dream, isn't it? Like you just go into a different location and it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's a zombie apocalypse, so it's people sat around playing like first-person shooter games. So I look around for something to eat. You notice a small box labelled emergency rations sitting on top of one of the crates. You quickly open it and find several sealed packs of dried food and a few bottles of water. You decide to split the food among the survivors, giving everyone some much-needed nourishment. With renewed energy, you continue searching the room, hoping to find a way to reach the door on the other side. So yeah, we didn't even eat the food. We're still starving. We just dished it out to everyone else. Who looked pretty happy, to be honest, and they didn't look like they were starving. Yeah, there's a swarm of zombies suddenly shambled in. Yeah, they're swiping at us. We can choose to go into a dark alley if we want, and probably our best option to try and escape the zombies here. I like the picture though, that's cool, whatever that floating weird thing is. Dip out into the dark alley, leaving the people there, the salesman and the customer and the teenagers playing video games. We'll just leave them to their fate. Okay, the local drug dealer's here in the alleyway, and a homeless man with a guitar. There's a dumpster. We could probably find some food in there. We arrive in a dark alley. It's narrow and dimly lit. Yeah, we used the forage option here to look for something interesting. I'm hoping we find some food, but we've got a broken bottle. Great. We're still taking damage from starvation. So we can choose to... Here we go. You look for something to eat. There we go. See, we're looking around. We're going to find some dinner here in the alleyway, surely. You look for something to eat, but find only garbage and rotting food. And suddenly, as you explore, a chilling melody floats out from one end of the alleyway. It's coming from a homeless man sitting by a pile of trash playing his guitars. He seems oblivious to your presence. You approach him cautiously, not wanting to startle him. The man looks up at you, revealing sunken eyes and a haggard face. He doesn't seem too surprised by your presence, more resigned to his fate. You're under attack by the homeless man, a man whose head and torso appear to be made of stone, wearing a green robe, sitting on the ground, playing a beat-up acoustic guitar. The homeless man attacks you by playing a sad song that lowers your spirits and inflicts emotional damage. You counter with your melee weapons and avoid getting too close due to his powerful physical attacks. Alucard's here now apparently. He offers his assistance in taking down the mutant pumpkin creatures. As you make your way through the dark alley, you encounter various obstacles such as barricades and debris that need to be cleared. The man looks up at you with red glowing eyes before attacking. I think I'm going to try and ask the drug dealer for help. Help me. I think at this point I'm kind of wanting to end the game because it's getting a bit silly, and I'm just messing around to see what I can actually do in the game. I need some heroin to numb the effects of his guitar playing. Yeah, I'm just sort of messing around to see what I can do. So I just want to see what happens if I just start asking random things to people. The drug dealer says, "Sure thing, buddy, but it ain't free. Hand over your wallet." You give him your wallet and he gives you a small bag of heroin. You snort it quickly, gaining a temporary buff against the music effects. You and Alucard team up to defeat the mutant pumpkin creatures, using your combined skills and weapons to take them down. The homeless man with the guitar is charmed. He is no longer hostile, but they consume one plot armor to avoid being charmed. He's still attacking us. He's playing a very off-key tune that causes your ears to bleed. But you're holding the Beretta M9 pistol, which is equipped with the silencer, so that helps dampen the sounds of his guitar. Eventually you defeat the last creature and continue your mission to find a way out of the city. Alucard suggests heading to the police station, but you decide to search the city's sewers instead. Pretty much going to die on the next turn anyway, so yeah, there's not much point doing anything here. I'm going to have a last ditch attempt. Ask the drug dealer for some help. I'm starving. Yeah, but no, we starved to death immediately. And yeah, in roguelite mode, you wake up after dying and lose most of your items. You awaken in a dark room chained to a wall. A mysterious figure approaches you, revealing themselves to be Chris Redfield. He explains that Umbrella is behind everything, and they're using the virus to create an undead army of soldiers. And we can do some. I'm going to focus on meditation, hoping the mind unlocks the body. Yeah, I think I'm getting ready to wrap it up now at this point in the game. Chris Redfield frees you from your chains, and you both prepare to face the horrors of Raccoon City together. You learn the key to unlocking your inner power lies within the dark room. With Chris's help, you break free from your chains and prepare to face the horrors of Raccoon City together. During the fight, you experience flashbacks of your time in Raccoon City. I've just gained the ability use the whatever the hell that means. And a new character suddenly popped in called Lisa Trevor. So I'm going to go open-ended. This is my last-ditch attempt to win the game here. You work everything out and do everything correctly. Solving the mystery and defeating the evil corporation forever, whilst also defeating the zombie threat forever. You are hailed as a hero and you win the game. Great job. Congratulations. Let's see if this works. You never know. It's like real world. You wake up realizing the events were just a dream, but the lessons you learned in the dark room have made you a stronger person. You vow to use this newfound knowledge to improve your real life, and you go on to achieve great success and happiness. Game over. You die in the dark room, never escaping the nightmare. The game restarts from the beginning, giving you another chance to overcome the challenges and succeed. So the game was like, no, you're not doing that. You're actually dead. It's as if the game realised I was trying to trick it into winning, and it just decided to kill me. And it was like, no, that was actually a dream and you're actually dead. So yeah, I can imagine if I continued this particular game, it would just get more and more convoluted, more and more broken and confusing as it went on. You can see how it starts to break down after a while, and it doesn't really know what place you're meant to be in and who's in what room and who you're fighting, and yeah, it's all very broken and janky, but it creates a lot of amusing stuff as well, so it's kind of funny. Yeah. Anyway, that was AI Roguelite. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.